Alright guys, this is Dane once again with Team Yagi, your favorite and only Minnesota competitive Dragon Ball Super card game player team. And we're starting today with a very slightly edited with just one new card from set 7. Everlasting Life Zamasu, also known as Absolute God Fused Zamasu, the life gimmick of all life gimmicks. So, starting with Zamasu here, he's basically just going to go ahead and mill a life, and then if it's blue, you draw one. You run like a 40 cards of blue, so their chances are pretty good, 80%, to at least draw one. Self-awaken. It's just pretty good. Having cards in drop, there are sparking cards in the deck, so it always helps. When you do awaken, it is only at 2. That's the big scary part, is that if your opponent is smart and they do it right, they might be able to kill you at 3 life when you're not prepared for it. You do only draw 2 instead of awaken, but that's okay because you're playing blue. Absolute God. Basically, that's the gimmick. You take 5 life damage based off of the top of your deck, milling yourself rather than taking your life. And standard, when he attacks, draw 1. The most commonly played card in the deck, Undying Link Fused Zamasu. He comes in, you inflict 2 damage to yourself, which is either, hopefully, if you have 3 life or 4 life, you take 2 cards, and then you awaken, and that's +4 to your hand, and then you get to restand your energy, which is just, honestly, it's nuts. You get to attack with a 20 indestructible every single turn from then on out, and he's a target for Potara Fusion if you happen to go that route. The big boy version of that is Joyful Strike Goku Black with my shiny little Judge promos. This is the gold boy. He will double strike 25k for the same exact thing. You can go ahead and grab 2 life or mill 10, and then you can put out another one in the same turn, another 25 double strike. Just keep attacking your opponent over and over again. Man, it can actually add up so fast. This card is nuts. Granted, hopefully the meta's kind of slowing down so you'll be able to play him a bit more. The other Fused Zamasu, Fusion Reborn. This card is basically how you get to play the real big boy we'll get to in just a moment. He lets you awaken whenever you want, which means that you can start to play Dimension Magics for free. It also means that at 2, all you need is 2 blue energy, and you can cheat out your big boy rather than having 7, which is way easy. And all you have to do is have 15 or less cards in your deck, which, if you self-milled with either one of these guys, that is perfect. He cheeses out the big man of the hour himself, Infinite Force Fused Zamasu. This is the card. This is the reason that your opponent can't let themselves get their 1 life. They immediately lose if they do. You bottom deck a life. You can bottom deck an active energy, a battle card, as long as it doesn't have barrier. You can bottom deck a card in hand, which means they don't get the optimal choice. You can either do it randomly, or you can just do the old pick a card, any card, and that will still be better than whatever random choice, because at worst, you get rid of the card that they were already going to get rid of. So it goes to bottom deck as opposed to drop, so a lot of decks work from drop. That hurts them even more. And then he's just a 30k, indestructible, and every time he attacks, he takes a life no matter what. He's just really good. 3 Goku Black, Countdown for Destruction. If you guys know this card at all, you get to play him for free at 5 energy, and then you draw a card, and he's a target for Potara if you have to. This card's just really good. It's a free draw every turn from turn 3 or 4 onwards. This is the reason that you get to play the deck, basically. Planet for Destruction. When this card printed out of the anniversary box, this deck became relevant again between this and Goku Black. You get to add 10k power, which is like already okay for an extra card for 1 energy. But the real big thing is that you get to ramp your energy as long as there's 7. So if you've ramped with Objection, or your opponent's ramped with Objection, or you've ramped with the new Rose Goku Black, it's not in this build, but there are other versions with it, you get to just put it in your energy and rest mode, which means that if turn 3 or 4 you drop 2 or 3 of these, you jump up to 7 energy, and then you can start using Joyful Strike immediately. It's also great defensively as well. This is the only set 7 card in here, Gowasu. He's one of the shuffle backs. You get to shuffle any battle card you want because nobody is 35 or more. There's just a few battle cards that are under 3 cost, and you're not going to target them anyway. It's basically just to shuffle back your Infinite Force if you mill all 3 or they're in your life or energy or wherever else they might be. The real winner, this card actually wins all the games in this deck. Fu Dark Banisher. Again, just run Overwhelm in every single deck, guys. It's basically required unless you have to run mono for the new ISRs. For 4, you get the triple attack for 25, and your opponent can't activate skills without getting rid of their hand. It's super good. Just run it, and you'll win the game, because a lot of the times you Undying, and then you Fu, and then you've attacked your opponent 5 times in a turn. Just some of the other miscellaneous stuff. 3 Supreme Kai of Times. There's no other low drops in this deck. Just stall your opponent for those first few turns. Really, really strong against Broly, Self-Awakeners. It makes sure that your opponent can't attack you, and obviously you get to draw a card. This is a card that would probably go in a side deck if I were to ever bring this to an event, but this deck gets a little bit beat by best of 3s, so it's not really worth it. Kami, just blow up your opponent's board if you feel like they're adding too many battle cards. You get to ignore barrier. It's just really strong, and then it always helps you reach for 1, you get to draw 1. So if you're ever desperate for a card, just go ahead and play him. Super combos, some of those non-blue cards again. Helis. The 2 options here are this and then North Kai. Both of them are god targets, but the real big thing is that this one lets you draw 2 and then drop 1, which is super great, and then obviously it's a 10k per turn. The standardest of standard blue packages. 1 Trunks Unyielding Spirit, 4 Sensu Bean, 4 Objection, ramp your energy, let you play more cards in turns, and it's super good defensively. This card is probably the best defensive card in the game. Honestly, the only thing that compares is like the red Unending Awakening. And then Trunks, you get to free restand. Just do it. And negates. The deck is a little bit slower, so it has to run a few more negates. 4 Dimension Magic, probably the best negate in the game, to be honest. There's no reason not to play it. Sparking 5, you get to take 1 to your hand, which if you were at 4 life and then you took 2 from Zamasu and awoke, then you get at least 1 free Dimension Magic for the rest of the game. And then lastly, 2 Whis' Coercion, and it's only 2 Whis' Coercion because you can't run 6 Dimension Magic. So, basically just run more. Is that all you got? And Spirit Sword are interesting options, but I find Restanding Energy to be more useful, just because you want to be desperate on your energy to play as many Plan for Destructions as you can. And that has been Zamasu, Absolute Fused God. This card is good. It's actually quite gimmicky, but this card is really good, and it can definitely win locals. I've placed top 2 already here, and I plan to do winning. Basically, I keep losing to Shenron. Loses to really big, powerful stuff like Broly right away if your opponent plays it correctly. But if you stall them correctly with Supreme Kai and Kami, you can win. That's been Dane from Team Yami, and we're here bringing you guys the most exciting Dragon Ball content on the web. Like, subscribe, give us a comment if you think that this could be edited in some sort of way, or if you've got any tips or any requests for deck builds. Thanks.